Has anyone else been sick like 400 times this past year? I definitely have, as you may be able to tell from my voice, and I'm really sick and tired of it. It is the reason I didn't upload last weekend, and depending on how I'm feeling, I may not upload my second video again next weekend. It's really impacted my work and energy levels this past year, so let's talk about it a bit. During the height of COVID, when my social contacts were lower and the masks were on, I don't believe I got sick a single time save for my one bout with COVID. Ever since we took off the masks, I have genuinely gotten sick once or twice a month. Now coming up on a year of that, I find myself exhausted all the time. The past month has been the longest stretch without a cold, and the whole time I've been finding myself expecting the next one. Maybe it's a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy in that way, but it is hard to break out of that mindset when it's happening with such a predictable, recurring frequency. I have some ideas as to why. I don't purport to be the most socially active person. Most days I prefer my solitude and the few interactions I have at work, but as mentioned, the end of lockdown definitely increased my social colloquium. Usually every Thursday when I'm not sick, some coworkers and I will go out to the bar after we close. Now and again, I'll invite said coworkers to my place on a Saturday. Every couple of months, my high school buddies, the boys, we'll all get together to have a fun night at someone's place. But at the end of the day, I don't think I'm out as often as many of my peers, people who may be in school or just more outgoing, and yet I do find myself sick much more often than they are. So that's led me to consider other options, such as my health. I've always been a little bit of a hypochondriac. If WebMD says I'm gonna die, I've already updated my will. But in all seriousness, I fancy myself pretty informed in terms of health and science, and so I'm often looking out for things that may be out of place. So much so that I asked my doctor about getting a checkup to see if my immune system is working properly. Side note, my family doctor is awesome, and I don't know how she does what she do. During lockdown, my old doctor retired, so she had to take on most of his patients while still taking care of her own. She's a younger lady, always hustling and bustling, and I find it funny since she really just treats me like any of her friends. She'll casually swear in front of me, and I'm just sitting here like, this is so weird, you're supposed to treat me like a stupid child. But it also humanizes me, makes the doctor's office less of an intimidating place. Psst. Stop, now! No. And I also really appreciated that she saw on my record how long I had been asking to try antidepressants. Mind you, this was over many years, and she put me on them right away. But back to the topic. She told me everybody's sick right now, and explained how the triple whammy of viruses going around means that a lot of people are getting sick, recovering but not fully, and then the next one comes around and with their weakened immune system just strikes again even more strongly. Not totally convinced, I had even gone so far as to get myself tested for HIV twice. I'm negative, thankfully, but it has even become a little bit of a joke at work. I overcooked a chicken, blame it on the AIDS. But with these things ruled out, it was time to begin looking inward at some of the potential self-inflicted reasons as to why I'm getting sick so often. Firstly, my diet. Working in a kitchen, long night hours and the such, and with a plethora of not so great readily available foods at my disposal, it is difficult to get a healthy, balanced diet in. Side note, I'm sure the stress of the kitchen doesn't help much, though my stress levels as of late are lower than in the past. I have made some changes since I started my antidepressants. I find I don't overeat as much, which was a big issue before. When at work, I try to get salad instead of fries every so often, and also opt for healthier food options like fish or stir fry. I've also been cooking at home much more, and without my car, I get fast food and takeout significantly less. And in whatever capacity that I cannot improve my diet, I've begun taking a multivitamin every day, which is probably a major reason as to why I'm sick less often, and even this time it is less severe. Other likely factors are what I like to call my vices. If I can find the picture, I'll put it up here. I've been an on and off smoker since mid-2020, switching between cigarettes and vapes as my lungs demand. I'll usually go 3 to 8 months off, 1 to 2 months on. During those periods, I'm usually more stressed and prone to making bad decisions. I'm generally pretty good in terms of quitting. Once I've decided to quit, I can go cold turkey. It's more of a journey to get to that point where I actually want to. The more pressing matter is probably my drinking, if I'm being honest. I don't drink every night. The problem is more so that when I do drink, it tends to be in higher quantities. If I pick up a 6-pack of beer, I'll crush that and more in one night. I could go through half a 2-6 in one evening of casual gaming even. I can't imagine that binge drinking in such a way is very good for my health. One only has to look at Canada's new controversial drinking guidelines to know that it definitely has a major effect. So that is something that I plan on working on, being a little more conservative in my approach to alcohol, and seeing if that has any tangible benefits to my health. Look, I'm not a perfect person. No one is, right? Sometimes I find it's a revolving door of dependencies. One week it's coffee, the next nicotine, then alcohol, then scratch tickets. It's going to be a challenge to break these habits, but I'm sure I can do it, or at least lessen their control over my life. At the same time, not to make excuses, I'm young. I don't think it's too uncommon for people my age to be having fun, making decisions that may not be ideal for one's health. I do look forward to the day when, in combination with my choices and hopefully a more mild flu season, that I can get back to a healthier version of me and not be sick every fortnight. So, question of the day. Have you been sick more often this year? If so, why do you think that is? Tell me in the comments below. Thank you for making it this far, and I apologize for not getting a video out last weekend. I do want to embrace my channel mantra of indecisive content, indeterminate timelines a little more, at least in the sense of if I'm not feeling well or if I'm not inspired, I don't want to release videos that I'm not proud of. There is a balance between consistency and quality, and I'm trying to find that right now. So stick along, it'll get better with time and practice. Share with your friends, like if you haven't already, and subscribe if this is content that you're enjoying. But yeah, until next time, bye!